Well, maybe it's just because you're ugly.
Ugly? You gotta be kidding me.
Hi, I'm a professional animator. This video is for artists that are hungry for inspiration and accountability. People who are interested in how movies are made, and for anyone looking for a good story. This is the first episode of a new series I've been thinking about, which is Animator breaks down the personality of characters from movies, specifically animated movies. Maybe live action someday. And the two characters that I've chosen to break down today is SpongeBob Squarepants and Squidward. I don't know what his last name is. I guess I can look it up. Oh, Squidward Tentacles. And when I say break down the personality of these characters, I mean the Myers-Briggs personality type of these characters. So let's start with SpongeBob. Oh, I'm gonna put on my glasses. So to break down SpongeBob and Squidward's personalities, I will be using this website, 16personalities.com, which finds traits such as introversion and extroversion, feeling, thinking. Those are the most easy ones to understand, but then there's intuition and a bunch of other stuff that I'll go into later. So yeah, let's start SpongeBob.
20 minutes later.
See results. All right, let's see what SpongeBob is. Are you ready, guys? All right. An entertainer. Interesting. Stretching. Entertainer. Interesting. All right. So introverted. Introversion versus extroversion. He is 94% extroverted from my analysis. I feel like that is accurate.
Say hi to everyone in Bikini Bottom.
Thank you. Me.
Yeah, thanks. SpongeBob, what are you doing?
Hi, Pearl. Come on, it won't bite.
I'm gonna teach you how to do the sponge. Well, if you take your leg and you stick it in the air, and then you take the other one and jam it right up there, you twist yourself around and give a great big lunge. The sponge, the sponge.
They love us! Yay! We're popular!
Oh,
And
God.
all the hard work that we put in on the decorations.
Hello! Hi, male fish! Hi, Mrs. Crossing Guard!
Mother of mercy!
Wow, a parade! Hi, parade! Hi, tuba player! Hi, drummer! Hi, guy with the cymbals! Hi, trumpeter! Hi, tambourine girl! Hi, timbali man! Hi, didgeridoo player! Hi, triangle player! Hi, guy with the kettle drum! Hi, pianist! Hi, guy with the flute! And hello, Daddy!
My leg!
Am I ugly? Am I ugly? My eyes! My eyes! Pardon me. Ugly sponge coming through. Hi. I am very ugly, but you should enjoy the movie anyway. Excuse me, sir. I hope my horrible ugliness won't be a distraction to you.
Not at all, boy.
Getting kind of bored.
Energy, observant, rather than intuitive. Okay, I don't have much to say about that. Nature, thinking, feeling, 93% feeling. I feel that that is correct.
Pearl, could I see you in the kitchen for a second?
Sure, SpongeBob.
How am I gonna break it to her? I've never fired anyone before. Well, I just gotta say it. Pearl, you're fired. Okay, here it goes.
I can't take it anymore. Nothing I do is working.
Sure it is, Pearl. Look at all the hip young people eating salads.
No, don't you get it? I've been trying to get fired since day one. I was only pretending to like this place to please Daddy. Oh, SpongeBob, what should I do?
I've got it. I could pretend to fire you. I'll take the heat from Old Man Krabs later.
Tactics, prospecting versus judging.
Let's see. Lifting weights, big laugh, frisbee in face, kills, surfing, knocks him dead, pretending to drown. No. Come on, think. I got it!
I want to go to the prom, get my picture taken, and I want to dance. Okay? I want to drink punch with my friends, and don't do that other thing you're always doing. when
Pearl, we gotta get back to the limo. Okay, let's see my to-do list. Go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work. No, that's not right. I need the one for Sunday. Ah, here we go. Say hi to everyone in Bikini Bottom.
Identity, assertive, turbulent. So assertive is more like I'm gonna do my own thing, and turbulent is like I'm gonna go with the flow. So yes, I agree that he's very much like this. Now I'm gonna do the personality test for Squidward. Let's see.
20 minutes later.
See results. All right, let's see the personality of Squidward. The architect, interesting. Yes. My most favorite things to look at when it comes to character, 96% introverted. I feel that's very accurate.
This is great. My day off. No worries. Just relaxation. I'm the boss. I deserve this. Everything will be fine. There won't be any customers today anyway. Must relax. Look at yourself. You're losing your bluish glow. Stop worrying so much. Now, repeat after me. You will not go back to the Krusty Krab.
I will destroy the Krusty Krab.
Let Squid's day off.
Okay, so I'm just gonna skip straight to comparing the personalities here. When it comes to personality types, there's no such thing as a bad personality or a good personality. All personalities are neutral. They could be good or bad. So I'm gonna add another attribute to the letters that depict each part of a personality. We have I and E for introversion and extroversion, N and S for intuition and sensing, T and F for thinking and feeling, J and P for judging, and then we have T and A for assertive and turbulent. I'm going to make a change to Squidward's personality. I know that it came out as a turbulent, but I feel that he's actually more assertive. He does not allow himself to be pushed around. He does exactly what he wants, which is more of an assertive personality type. The extra letter that I want to add, this letter's already taken, but T for toxic and A for altruistic. And the reason why I choose those is every personality can be toxic. For instance, a thinker can be toxic by always ignoring the emotions of people around him and just concentrating on, objectivity all the time. And an F person can be toxic. Since they understand emotions, they can very easily manipulate people. Like they know how someone get their feelings hurt. And since they know that, they can use that to manipulate and hurt people purposefully. So no matter what personality your characters have in a movie or you yourself have, you can either be altruistic and try to be a good person, or you can be a toxic person. An interesting thing about personalities is maybe an architect was raised by parents that were feelers and extroverted, and so they were bagging them all the time for being unfeeling and a loner. And so if you were raised or surrounded by people like that, then it can really affect how you think of yourself and other people. So a I person can hate extroverted people because all their life they were shamed for being introverted. A F person can hate thinking people because they feel like they are unfeeling. So I chose these characters to break down their personality. I mean, you would think I would maybe go for SpongeBob and Patrick, because Patrick is probably more of a popular character than Squidward.
It's a giraffe!
but I chose SpongeBob and Squidward because their personalities are nicely contrasted. And in art in general, in story, contrast is very important. So you have the plot, things happen, and then you can have characters driven through the plot, and their personality dictates their decisions. So we have two characters that are very different. 94% extroverted for SpongeBob and 96% introverted for Squidward. And so clearly, Squidward is very annoyed by SpongeBob because he wants to be around him and is super energetic and in his face all the time because that's where he gets his energy from. Where Squidward just wants to be alone and think and be peaceful by himself, and that's where he gets his energy from. So there's a lot of conflict arises there. And obviously I talked a lot about how thinking and feeling people, there's a big contrast there because SpongeBob is all about his emotions and what makes him excited and passionate, and Squidward is more of a thinker and just wants to either talk with someone that he feels is deep like he is, or do something that he thinks is thoughtful, like creating music or painting. But here's the thing, you can have a story with characters who contrast each other but understand the other character's personality and respect their personality. So you can have a story where there's an introvert and an extrovert together, and you can have the extrovert at a party having fun and the introvert kind of going closer to the wall and be like, this is stressing me out. And then the extrovert can be like, hey, I'm having fun, but I can tell he's like being drained of his energy. So I'm going to go outside and hang out with him one-on-one and just talk to him outside where all the noise is gone and it's just two people, and have a deep conversation. And that would probably make the introvert's day that happened, and it would make that party a very fun thing. So you could have scenes like that in a movie, and even though maybe people aren't interested in all the different personalities, but since they have a personality and they're surrounded by people who have personalities, they intuitively know what the story is telling them, even if they don't know all the details of all this stuff. So for Squidward, a couple of things that make him more of a toxic character is because, for one, he has a job that he doesn't like. He is an introvert and he's forced to be a cashier. He has to take their order and talk to people, where he'd rather be playing music, practicing his instrument, or painting by himself. That's what he'd rather do. But since for whatever reason people don't like his paintings or don't like his music and think that he's a bad musician, that causes a lot of anger and resentment. And SpongeBob is also artistic. He's an entertainer personality type, and he can naturally draw, naturally do this stuff, and he gets a lot of praise, where Squidward wants the praise, but he doesn't get the praise, so he hates SpongeBob. So these little things about personality tells a lot about a story. But there's two things. There is personality, which is something that you're basically born with, and it slightly changes as you get older. Like an extroverted person becomes more introverted as they get older, because at a certain age you just don't have the energy to be at the club all the time or something like that. So there's personality that's you're pretty much born with, and then there's character, and that's what you build throughout your lifetime. So character is looking at yourself and seeing where you would like to improve or change. So if your character is introverted and they're very social at parties, it's something that they learn. That's a part of their character that they grafted onto their personality. They're still not comfortable. So you can show that they're naturally introverted, but they learned how to be social at parties, but you can tell that they're not in their comfort zone, but they learned how to do it. And then the same thing with extroverts, where they say, like, I can't just spend all my time out and about because I physically get exhausted, even though I am like mentally excited. So they learn to spend time by themselves and meditate, and that's something a character can learn, but it's still not their comfort zone. And you can do the same thing with thinking and feeling. The most important thing for me when it comes to the Myers-Briggs personality type, when I'm animating, what I'm thinking about mostly is extroversion versus introversion, or feeling versus thinking. The other stuff is really good for detailed stuff, but it's not the most apparent when you spend a short time with a character. When animating, you're animating 24 frames a second. 24 frames a second. That takes a lot of time. We spend hours and hours animating. And so what we think about is, yes, we do think about the 12 principles of animation. We think about the technology in Maya and all that stuff. But the thing that I think about as an animator is personality and character. Because their personality, whether they're introvert or extrovert, like if you're animating an extroverted character, it affects everything. It affects their posture. It affects their facial expressions. It affects their gestures. You know, an introverted person might be more of a looser posture, where they're more, hunched slightly. Where an extroverted person is up and bubbly and excited, and it also affects the timing of things. An introverted person might be slower, maybe more thoughtful, show them thinking more because they're internally thinking about things and internally feeling things. So you'd have a lot of eye darts, and maybe their facial expressions are more subtle, like they're happy but they're thinking, and so it's subtle. But an extroverted person would have more big, exaggerated facial expressions. So these are the things that we think about when we're animating 24 frames a second, or in video games, 60 frames a second, or 30 frames a second. Yeah, so that's what we think about as animators, and that's how we don't get extremely bored by the meticulous work of animation. But you can also keep this in mind, especially if you're an actor. Animators are also actors, but in slow motion. If you're an actor, if you're a painter, if you're painting faces, characters, keeping this stuff in mind will help you make very specific decisions. I heard a great video, I'll link it in the description below, where talked about trying to find the most original thing in animation or in art is pointless. So try to find the most specific thing. So maybe there's a story already out there and you want to tell a story similar to that. So how you may be unique is you be as specific as possible, all the details, understand everything about your character. And that's an important thing. When you're watching a movie, have you ever watched a movie, loved it, and then the sequel came out and then you hated it? Or you watched a TV show, you loved it, and then at a certain point, at a certain season, you started being it's lost its magic. I don't understand why, but it's just not as good anymore. The reason why is personality types in a narrative are objective. You want to have your characters, if they're introverted, you can't just have them all of a sudden be extroverted. You can have them have a character arc where they can learn to be more social, but you have to show, even when they're being really social, that they're not in their comfort zone. You have to be consistent with their personality, which is kind of like these rules and guidelines that you're stuck in. But if you disobey those rules, if you ignore the rules, then the audience is going to be confused because they don't know who they're watching. Because in life, people's personality is pretty consistent. You know how people are going to be. So when you're watching a story and then characters jump from being an introvert to an extrovert, and jump from being a feeler to a thinker, and jump from being sensing to being intuitive. So all these things should stay pretty solid. A lot of times this is what happens. You have a director and a writer for a movie, and they wrote the story, they did all this stuff, and maybe a new writer or a new director comes on for the sequel or for the new season of the show, and didn't spend enough time to understand the personality of the characters. And that's why it's really important to listen to your actors, because if you have the same actors playing this, they are directed and acting and spend a lot of time thinking about personality and history, background, what happened to this character recently. And so if a new director and a new writer comes in and just ignores it and throws it out the window, then the first thing you see happen is usually, the actors will say hey, well, this is how it is. And so that's why collaborating is so important, because inside a production, you want everybody to keep each other in check. It doesn't mean you can't have dramatic twists, and that's another thing. Some people want to subvert expectations of the audience. Like, the audience knows, oh, this is what this character is going to do based off their personality, based off of whatever, but you cannot contradict their personality, because that's not subverting the audience expectation. That's subverting the character's personality. So you can have them do something that's unexpected but stays true to their personality. Or you can show another character manipulating them into doing something they normally wouldn't do, and then they do that thing. And even though it's out of their personality, you can understand, okay, they were kind of manipulated to do so by this other character. So, yeah, personality and character is really important in narrative, in animation, in art in general. So I'm going to wrap up this episode of Animator Breaks Down the Personality of Characters. What do you think about these characters' personalities? Do you think I got something wrong? Could I improve in some way? Please share this with a friend that you think would find this personality character conversation interesting. And in the description below, there's a link to this personality test, so you can find out whether you're more of a SpongeBob or whether you're more of a Squidward. And if you're more of a Squidward, that's okay. Squidward just happens to be kind of like a sad, toxic individual. There is some wonderful examples of some awesome architects out there. I'm looking forward to breaking down a more of a hero architect. Anyway, if you find this inspiring or interesting or want to see more of this, please subscribe. What characters should I break down next time? Specifically animated characters. I might someday do live action, but I would like to know what animated characters. I would like to know 2 characters from the same movie or show who are contrasting in some way. So maybe they are hero and villain, they're hero and anti-hero, or maybe villain and villain that don't agree with each other, or maybe hero and hero that don't agree with each other. I would love some suggestions. Thanks for watching. This has been really fun, and stay tuned for episode 2. I'm now trying to post on Fridays. I don't think this video came out on Fridays, but this should be out on Fridays. Thank you. Bye.